Hello, welcome to Two Carry-Ons with Mars and Deanne. We are here to share with you guys some insights of our trip to Turkey during the months of May and June.
So yeah, we basically started our 2-month hiatus out of the Schengen zone in Antalya. So we spent a month in Antalya. We rented an Airbnb up on the plateau, which is, if you look at the map, it's between the Kanyalti beach and Old Town, which we at the time thought it was a great location, and thankfully it was a great location. In hindsight, we were looking. We think we made a really good decision. The other decisions would have been Old Town, Laura Beach, or over by Kanyalti Beach. I think strategically, where we stayed up on the plateau was a really great location because you can easily take a tram to either Old Town or to Kanyalti Beach. Actually, from our location, you can walk to Kanyalti Beach. It's about a 15-minute walk. But if you were to stay in Old Town, then it's a little bit chaotic there. I felt like it.
Yeah.
Most old towns, we stay in old towns, and most places we go, we were happy we didn't stay there because there's not a lot to see and do there after a day or two.
Yeah, it's really crowded.
And it's a lot of chaos. It's a lot of shops, a lot of shopping, a lot of people asking you to, come into their shop. Anyway, and the restaurants there are a little bit more touristy. Whereas if you go to Laura Beach, they have some really nice restaurants and they have some nice hotels. The problem with Laura Beach, we felt when we took the bus there, we only spent a day there, so we're not the experts on that neighborhood. But when we did spend a full day there. We took a bus, and it took from Old Town about 30 minutes. Super hot, super crowded bus, and if you were to stay in that neighborhood and you wanted to get out of that neighborhood, it would be kind of a bummer to have to do that every day, to take a 30-minute bus. Our perspective. If you are doing medical tourism, though, I'm assuming that's the place you stay because all the hotels there seem to be catering to medical tourism. If you don't know about medical tourism in Turkey, it's a big deal. They do all kinds of different procedures there, from dental to hair
transplant
replacements to facials, whatever. There's a lot of medical tourism there, which is a lot of reasons we found why people actually go to Antalya. I'm not sure they're going there for the beaches or for more of the tourism. I think it seems to us that it's mostly the medical tourism. But where we stayed, we were super happy because we were kind of outside of that. We were in a neighborhood with lots of grocery stores. We made a lot of friends with the grocers, particularly with the people at the meat market. They were really, really sweet. There's also a farmer's market, or kind of a fresh market on Sundays. So we would go there and get some fresh vegetables and things like that from the locals. There were a couple of restaurants that we really, really enjoyed giving our business to them because they were just really, really nice.
Very helpful people.
And these 4 brothers owned this restaurant together, and they ended up being, really, actually kind of became friends with them. So anyway, I think that where we stayed, we made a good decision ultimately.
Yeah.
But also, because we rented an Airbnb for 30 days, it felt like a lot. We went there for medical tourism. There wasn't a lot to see in terms of attractions. You can take a boat trip over to like Laura Beach and see the waterfall, but there wasn't a lot of attractions to see besides going to the beach every day or going and visiting Old Town or having dinner in Old Town. There wasn't a lot to do there. So we ended up, even though we had rented an Airbnb for 30 days, we decided to take a road trip. So we took a 12-day hiatus. It wasn't planned to be 12 days. Originally, we had planned 6 days. And what we did is we took a bus from Antalya to Pamukkale, which I highly recommend. That's amazing. We did a video on it. An amazing place, and I highly recommend going there. Spent 3 days there. It's a little tiny town, so you really don't need more than 3 days there. And then, so from there we took another bus, 3 hours to Fethiye, which is a super cute little beach town. And they have a nice beach there. There's a great little downtown. And one of the things we did when we were there, we decided to go check out Olendeniz, which is a beach town, which is about 20 minutes away. And we fell in love with that place.
It's beautiful. The water is stunning blue. A lot of people doing, what is it, skydiving? No, what is it?
It's
hang gliding. Hang gliding. Lots and lots.
Parasailing, that's what it is.
Yeah, it's parasailing. But we talk about high volume of parasailing.
It's one of the most popular places, I think, if not in Europe, worldwide, one of the most popular places to go paragliding.
Yeah. So extremely affordable. The nightlife is very vibrant. The locals are amazing, friendly. The food is very tasty. I highly recommend this little place called Olendeniz.
Yeah, there's a bunch of beach clubs. It's a rocky beach, but the water is super clean and clear and blue. Gorgeous, gorgeous water. Salty, so you don't have to work very hard. You just float. And but the people there, we stayed in the Banana. We spent a lot of time at the Banana Beach Club, which was made some really nice friends there, and kind of gave a lot of our, when we go out, we'd hang out there. And it's kind of nice when you start meeting some of the locals.
Yes.
And spending time with them.
And it goes go the other way around. They take care of us, right? So we went to a boat trip, one of those, take a boat for the day. They were able to find very reasonable price to us. They connect with their friends. They spoke on our behalf. We end up paying, I think it's like a 60% of the rate what would normally be for anyone.
Yeah.
So it's definitely worth it. You take care of them, they take care of you.
Well, that's one of the things that's kind of interesting, because when people approach you saying, "Oh, I'll help you get a good deal," and you're like, I wonder if it is a good deal. Well, a lot of times it is a good deal. If you make friends with the people, some of the staff, and they give you recommendations, often, they're getting a little tiny bit of a kickback, but still you're getting a really good deal. So it's kind of, you're like, So it's better not to kind of go with your gut, I guess, because in that situation, we got such a good experience for way less than what we would have paid had we gone with a general tour company.
Yeah. Another thing to keep in mind is, like Jen mentioned, for people to go to Turkey to do dental treatment. We did. We had our teeth cleaned in Antalya. They were very professional, extremely affordable compared to the United States. It's not even a consideration. It's a fraction of what it costs in the United States. So we actually highly recommend anyone who comes to Antalya at least entertain the idea of having dental treatment there, because it's much less than you would pay in US.
Yeah, if you have work to be done, in advance, and you can totally check it out. Check out the prices and check out the clinics, because they're very professional.
Yeah.
And
we're very happy with the service we received.
Yeah, and we know a lot of people who have actually gone there for procedures, and it's definitely worth checking out, because I'll tell you, the whole experience is pretty nice. I mean, we didn't have serious procedures, but we saw a lot of people walking around town that had procedures. You could see the tape on their faces, on their heads, whatever. And it's big business there, but it seems to me that it's a really good, if you want to save some money in the U.S., why not go to Turkey and
visit the country, enjoy the tourism.
Get great service, and then end up paying less than what you would in the U.S.
Yeah. So from Antalya, we went to Istanbul. For the first 2 weeks, we were in Istanbul. Our two sons joined us.
And my sister.
We spent quite a bit of time with them. There, for the whole month, it seems to be a little bit too long, to be honest, to be in Istanbul. One, because it's extremely crowded. And in the month of June, which we would not expect to be that warm, it was very, very warm. So we struggle a little bit with the heat. So is everybody else. But we tend to manage. The city is extremely safe. You can walk up and down the streets. So we stay at the Galera Tower location. literally a half a block to the Galileo Tower, and it was very safe to walk early in the morning to late in the evenings, 1 to 2 o'clock in the morning. There's still a lot of people, going up and down in those areas. Very safe. I highly recommend.
Yeah, I think that there's a few locations. If you're going to Google where to stay in Istanbul, Galata Tower is one of them, or the Taksim neighborhood, I think is what they call it. That's one of the top places to stay. Another option is the Sultan Hamlet. So if you have like mobility issues, that would probably be a better option, because Taksim and where the Galata Towers is, it gets pretty steep. So when you want to go see the sights, you will need to walk.
Yes.
Depending on where the metro is, you can catch the metro, but you either have to walk up or down the hill to get to the metro, and it's steep, and you have to. Their sidewalks have stairs on it. That's how steep it is. So if you have any kind of mobility issues, I would totally recommend staying in the Sultan Hamlet neighborhood, because that's where all the attractions are, and it's fairly flat. And it just seems like it would be a better option. But don't miss out. Go visit the Galata Tower or Taksim area.
Yes.
Because it's certainly worthwhile to visit. And there are trams, and there's also the Funitel that goes up the hill. It's called the Tunnel in Istanbul. It goes up, so you don't have to walk up the hill, but it brings you up above the Galata Tower, so you still have to walk down the hill. So again, mobility, if you're in a wheelchair or crutches or even a stroller, that area is a little bit more difficult to manage, because the sidewalks are steep and they do have steps. So you typically may have to go into the road in order to maneuver around the steps. And in that case, it's a little sketch, because the cars come fast, the taxis drive fast, and it's sometimes even on the sidewalks, you can't even walk on the sidewalks because the tables from the restaurants are on the sidewalks, or some of the stores will put the displays on the sidewalk. So you find yourself very frequently having to get off the sidewalk and walking in the street around certain obstacles. So anyway, if you have any kind of mobility issues, it's something to consider. So I would stay maybe in the Sultan Hamlet neighborhood. Another neighborhood that is really interesting, and I highly recommend you checking out. If you're only there for a few days, it's probably not the best place to stay, because to get to and from there, you basically have to take a ferry up the Bosphorus, which is not far. It's only like a 20-minute ride, but it could add up. And so anyway, that is the Katakoy neighborhood, because there, if you're staying for long term, longer than a couple of weeks, it could be a great area to check out, because they have really great markets, fresh markets if you want to buy produce, if you like to cook. Grocery stores. It's more where locals stay.
And students are there as well.
Students and expats. I mean, that's kind of where more of the locals stay. Not as many. There's plenty of tourists that go visit there, but they're not living there. So you get a completely different vibe. So
speaking of boat and train, subway, the public transportation in Turkey is excellent.
Mm-hmm.
I highly recommend, use the app from Turkey, get yourself acquainted with the location, and use the public transportation. We use the train all the time. We went to, greet our sons at the airport by subway, brought them back via subway, and also highly recommend, once you land in Istanbul airport, don't need to use the taxis. You just go ahead and take the subway. It's new, beautiful, clean, and very fresh, because once you arrive in Istanbul, which is warm in the summer, at least during the whole travel through subway, will be very pleasant, very cold. So highly recommend, use the subway. It's very straightforward, cheap, and very pleasant.
Well, the nice thing about the transportation, and this was true in Antalya too, Turkey's got the transportation nailed. They have it figured out, because you go down, you get the machine, you get the card, you load the card, and you can use that card on every kind of transportation. In Antalya, it's going to be the bus and the tram. But in Istanbul, you really want to take
Pretty
these
much have
ferries.
everything.
You want to take the ferries. The ferries are phenomenal. You can hop on, there's public ferries and private ferries. You don't even need to take the private ferries because the public ferries are so efficient. I mean, maybe if you want to do a tour up the Bosphorus farther up, you can do that, and it's still super affordable.
Yes, it is.
But if you just want to take the ferry, there's a couple great areas up the Bosphorus. I'm coming to blank at some of the names, but you want to take the ferry from Sultanahmet or Karakoy, which is different than Karakoy. Karakoy is basically the tram at the base of the hill up below Taksim Square and Galata Tower. So there's a great port there that you can actually catch the ferries from there up the Bosphorus or across the bridge from Sultanahmet, and it's great.
Yes.
And it's like, I think it's like 75 cents or $1 to take the ferries up and down the
Very cheap.
and it's so fun because you feel like you can see there's a bunch of palaces and a lot of other mosques and things along the Bosphorus that you can just sit on the ferry and take photos, and then you land there and you can have an amazing lunch in different locations. So anyway, the Istanbul cart works for the ferries, which is a really good thing to know. It just makes life so easy. You just get the card. I think it costs like 50, 75 cents, whatever it costs to get the card, load it. You can put like $10 on it and you're probably good for several days because it's so cheap. It's like 45 cents per leg, depending on, it's cheap. Very, very, very affordable.
So stay tuned for future videos, right? If you like this video, please don't forget to give a thumbs up and subscribe. It does help us to produce more videos for you guys in the future. Leave us comments of what would like to know more about Antalya, Deniz, Fatih, and Istanbul. I will be happy to share our experience further and give answer to any of the questions you may have. Jen has great insights about the apps that we use through both cities and definitely helped us. She helped us navigate us through the cities, both of them, through the app and the maps without any problem, any hiccups at all.
That's a lot of responsibility.
Stay tuned for the next one. Thanks, bye.